So let's get started here. So in this video, we're going to be going over chapter 6, which is covering consumer choice. And what we mean by consumer choice is basically why do you choose to do something? So we kind of hit this when we talked about utility and marginal analysis, but we're going to go a step further. Okay. So do you think that people will only spend money on education during good times? Right. So basically, because times are good, do you think people are like, oh, let's go to school? Maybe. But what about times during recessions? So a recession is basically where a lot of people are losing their jobs, or maybe they don't have a lot of income right now. So are people going to be going to school during those times? Your first initial thought could be like, well, we don't have money, so we don't have money to go to school, so maybe, right? But again, it's all about the consumer choice here, right? And there's a Latin phrase, de gustus nono este disputa. I don't know. Okay, it's a Latin phrase, and basically it's saying there's no disputing about taste. So the basic idea here is that because you are whoever you are, right, you're going to make choices a certain way. All right, so let's go a little bit more into that. So on the average person, all right, the average household income before taxes, we're looking at $62,000. Now, what are they averaging on expenditures? Expenditures is what you're spending money on. So you're spending around $48,000 on average. And then we broke it down into different things that people are spending their money on. Okay, such as food at home, food at restaurants, housing, travel, healthcare, entertainment, all these different things that you're going to be spending your money on throughout the year on average. So basically, do these numbers kind of line up with whatever you're doing, right? So do you think that you would have maybe more entertainment, or maybe you would have a higher education budget right now? Or maybe you spend more money at restaurants. Okay, basically, like, is this going to be different for you? Probably, right? And so all it comes down to is what you're able to afford, right? And we already talked about this. Was your budget constraint? Remember, your budget constraint was showing you all the possible combinations of two goods that you can afford given your limited income. So on the assignment the other day, we talked about income being $250, and then you had to buy gas or apples, right? And then we looked at all the different combinations that you can buy, right? If you bought 104 gallons of gas, you bought 0 pounds of apples. And then the most apples you can buy are 74 pounds and 0 gallons of gas. And then any combination in between there, right? Is showing you all the most amount of gas, the most amount of apples you can do. And so that was your budget constraint. Okay, was that you had, right, like say burgers and bus tickets, and this shows you the most amount of burgers you can buy and the most amount of bus tickets you can buy. And then we also are going to be making our choices based off of our total utility. So basically, this is showing the budget constraint shows you how much you can buy, but your total utility is going to show you what's the best combination for you, because your total utility, remember, is your smiley faces, and what it is your total satisfaction derived from your consumer's choices. Okay, and it's completely subjective. Meaning, if I say I get 20 utils from coffee, so 20 smiley faces from coffee, and you say you get 10 utils from coffee, that does not mean I have twice as much happiness. So when I say 20 smiley faces, that could be your 10 smiley faces. It really could, right? So we could be saying the same thing, but different numbers. So it's hard to compare person to person. But what I can say is if I have 1 cup of coffee, it gives me 20 utils. If I had 4 cups of coffee, right, I would have 100 utils, right? And then obviously, I'm happier with 4 cups of coffee than one, right? So if I compare me to me, I can do that, right? But comparing one person to another, can't really do that, right? So if I said 100 utils for 4 cups of coffee, somebody else could say 1,000 utils, right? So they are not the same, right? They are not. So if they said 1,000 utils, that does not mean that they are 10 times happier with 4 cups of coffee than me. That does not what that means. It's completely subjective. Now, marginal utility, right, is going to be the additional utility provided by one additional unit of consumption. So we kind of touched on this before, where if we were in the desert, okay, and we're really, really thirsty, the most amount of money we'd pay for one water bottle is like $1 million. All right, and we drink that first water, and it's fantastic. It's the best thing. It's going to save our life. Now, the second water bottle is going to be really good. All right, it's still going to help us out, make us happy, good. However, is it as good as the first one? Probably not. Okay, so the additional satisfaction that we're getting from the good, right? So we are happier because we're getting another water, right? That additional happiness that we're getting, that's the marginal utility. All right, so because we had another water, how much happier are we? That's what the marginal utility is trying to do. All right, now diminishing marginal utility is where, are you happier? Yes. Was it as good as the first one? No. Okay, so diminishing marginal utility is saying, as your utility is increasing, is it increasing at a decreasing rate? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so if we were to calculate the total utility here, okay, and we had it for t-shirts. So this amount of t-shirts that you're buying, these are the total utility you have. So that first t-shirt that you get, okay, you went from not having a t-shirt, so you're not happy, so 0, all right, but then you get the first one, and now, how much happier are you? You are 22 happy, all right? That's the marginal utility, because you are 20 utils happier than you were before. Now, because that's how utility works, let's see what happens with the second one. So when you have the second t-shirt, okay, what's your total utility? Your total is 43. So let's look here. What's the marginal utility? So marginal is the change. Because you have the second t-shirt, all right, you went from 22 and now you're at 43. So what is the change? The change is going to be 11 or 21, right? Because you're going from 22 to 43, right? So that is a change of 21. So the margin utility is going to be 21. Looking at the next one, so going from 2 to 3, so now you have the third t-shirt. You now have total utility of 63. So looking at where you were before and where you are now, you were at 43, you're now at 63. What's the change? The change is 20, right? Because you're going from 43 to 63. The change is 20. Now, going from the third to the fourth, because you have the fourth t-shirt, your total utility is now 81. So what is the marginal utility? The marginal is going to be that difference between 81 and 63. All right, so you would do 81 minus 63. 81 minus 63, and that should equal 18. Okay, so that's how we find the marginal utility. If you go to the next one, right, it's going to be 97 minus 81, so that's going to be 16. If you do the next one, right, that's going to be 14. If you do the next one, that should be 12, and the next one should be 10. So that's how we find the marginal utility. It's just the change in the total utility. All right. Now, in terms of the diminishing marginal utility, all right, can we see how each time the total utility is increasing, right? We can see it going from 22 to 133. So the total is increasing. But look at the marginal. What's happening to the marginal? We're going from 22 to 10. So, according to the law of diminishing marginal utility, you are increasing your total utility, but at a decreasing rate, meaning your marginal is decreasing. Your marginal is going from 22 to 10. So the rate at which your utility is increasing, that is going down. It's going from 22 down to 10. Okay, so your total utility is increasing at a decreasing rate. Okay, now let's work backwards here. Okay. If I had 0 movies, okay, I would be 0 happy. But if I had 1 movie, I would be 16 happy. So therefore my marginal is 16. What's my marginal for the next one? It's going to be 15. What's the next one? Well, the next one's 14. That's the marginal. So what's the total? So if I'm working backwards, okay, that would mean the third movie gave me 14 happiness extra. So I was 31 happy, and then I got an extra 14. So that would mean I would do 31 plus 14. So that would be 45. Now the next one would be 13. So I got 13 happiness out of the fourth movie. So that would be 58. The next one gave me 12, so that should be 70. Next one should be 81. Next one should be 91, and the last one should be 100. All right, so that's how those go. All right, so that's how we calculate the marginal utility, and that's also how we calculate the total utility. So total utility is going to be the change of the total utility is going to be adding all of the marginal utilities. Okay, so that's how we go. If you're going this way, you're subtracting, and if you're going this way, you're adding. Okay? So what does that mean for the optimal choice, right? Because now we have all of these movies and t-shirts, right? But like, how many do we buy? And that's where optimal choice comes in. So if you had to choose whether to do more movies or more t-shirts, we don't have to look at all the options in the bundles. We only have to find the marginal utility per dollar. Okay, and here's how that goes. Okay, so the marginal utility per dollar is this formula right here. It's just the marginal utility divided by price. Okay, so we have all these marginal utilities here for t-shirts and movies, and all you're going to do is divide it by the price of the t-shirts and the movies. All right, and your utility is maximized whenever the marginal utility divided by price are equal. Okay, so utility maximization is the best thing for you, right? It's the most smiley faces you can have. Utility maximization. And so you are going to be the happiest when you are consuming movies and t-shirts. So we are going to find the combination that's going to help you out, right? Is it 2 movies and 8 t-shirts? Is it 2 t-shirts and 8 movies? We're going to figure out what is the best combination to buy to give you the most utility. And all it is the margin utility divided by price. And if you're freaking out, all right, let's take it step by step. All we did was we had the total utility, we found the marginal, and all you're going to do is divide the marginal by the price. Okay, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to divide by the price here. So we'll do 22, and the price of a t-shirt is 14. Okay, so t-shirts are 14 and movies are 7. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is 22 divided by 7, and I'm not a mathematician here, so that should be 1.57, and then we'll do 21 divided by 14, and so that should be 1.5. Okay, and we're just going to do this the whole way down. 1.42. Okay, and if you wanted to do this in Excel, you really could. You would just, put in all your numbers, and then you would just copy down the formula. So let me do that real quick. 20. Okay, so that should be. So that should be 1.2. That should be 1. I'm sorry, this should be 1.3. That should be 1.1. That should be 1. That should be 0.85. And that should be what? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, 10. that should be 0.71. Okay, so that's all we're doing. We're taking the margin utility and divided by the price. We're going to do the same thing for the movies. Okay, so now we'll do 16 divided by 7. 15 divided by 7, because remember it's margin utility divided by price. Alright, so let's do that. We'll have 16, 15, 14, and then the price is 7. Alright, and we go all the way down to 9. Okay, and so we'll have 2.3. We'll have 2.14. We'll have 2, 1.85, 1.71, 1.57, 1.42, 1.28. Okay. Sorry, let me round up. 1.43, 1.29. Okay. All right. So we have calculated the marginal utility divided by price for each one. All right. Now we have to figure out where are they equal. Okay. So looking at here, I have 1.57. Do I have a 1.57 here? Yes, I do. Okay. So that would be here. And then do I have a 1.5? No, I don't. Do I have a 1.4? Yes, I do. Yep, right here. Do I have a 1.3? Yes, I do, because if I round it up, right, 1.29 is going to be 1.3. Do I have a 1.1? No. Do I have a 1? No. 0.85? No. 0.71? No. So what I have highlighted is my optimal choices. So now, okay, I need to figure out which one do I buy. Okay, so if we're talking about utility maximization, we want the most utility. And where would we get the most utility? Would that be buying one movie and one t-shirt, 6 movies? Or would we get the most utility out of buying 8 movies and 4 t-shirts? All right, and if you're wondering, how do we know that? If we did 1 t-shirt, that's 22 utility, and 6 movies is 81 utility. So total, right, bundle 1 or bundle A, okay, so bundle A will give us 22 and 81. So that's a total utility of 103. Bundle B, which is 3 t-shirts and 7 movies, would give us 43 total utility and 91 utility. So that would be 134. And then finally, bundle C would be 4 t-shirts and 8 movies, and that would be 81 plus 100, so that would be 181. So out of A, B, and C, what is the best choice? The best choice is C, right? Because it's 181. All right. So that's how utility maximization works. Is you will buy where they are, the margin utility divided by price are equal. All right. And then you'll pick the one that gives you the most utility, which is C in this case. Okay. B will be your next best choice. All right. So that's how we calculate optimal choice. Okay. Is you find the margin utility divided by price. Okay. The next part of this would be trying to figure out, can we afford this bundle? All right. So if we had $56, can we buy 8 movies and 4 t-shirts? All right. Well, let's do that real quick. All right. So let's see. Bundle A, bundle B, and bundle C. Bundle A is 1 t-shirt and 6 movies. Bundle B is 3 t-shirts and 7 movies. And bundle C is 4 movies, or 4 t-shirts, and 8 movies. Alright, and if movies are $7 and t-shirts are $14, that would mean this bundle right here, $14 and $7. So this would be 14 times 4, which is 56. And then over here, 8 times 7 is 56 as well. So how much does this bundle cost you? This should be $112. Yes. Yes, I doubted myself. Okay, but that should be $112. You need $112 to buy bundle C, but we only have 56. So even though bundle C is the maximum utility that we're going to get, we can't afford it. Okay, what about 3 t-shirts and 7 movies? Well, t-shirts are 14, so that'll be 12, so 42, and then 7 movies, and those are 7, so that'd be 49, so that would be 91. So again, we can't afford that one. What about this one? This one, we have $14 for t-shirts, and then 6 times 7, which is 42. And so this bundle right here is 14 plus 42, and that is $56. So given this information, okay, we will choose bundle A. All right. If you had unlimited income, you would choose bundle C. If you had only $56, you would choose bundle A. Okay, so that's how it works. So let me go through the steps again. Number 1, we need the total utility. Number 2, we need the marginal utility. Number 3, we need the prices. Number 4, we need to do marginal utility divided by price. And then we need to do that for both goods to where margin utility divided by price is equal to the margin utility divided by price. We write out our bundles. Okay. And then find the one within budget. Okay. So these are the steps. We need the total utility, find the margin utility, find the prices. You do the margin utility divided by price. You find out where they're equal. You write out the bundles, and then you find the one within your budget. Okay, and that's exactly what we did. We found the total right here, found the marginal, found the prices, which they gave it to us. Margin utility divided by price, find out where they're equal, which we highlighted. We wrote out our bundles, A, B, and C, and then we found the one within our budget, which was A. Okay, so A is the optimal choice, and that's how you do it. The other way we can find the optimal choice would be finding the ratios of price and equal that to the margin utilities. We don't have to focus on this method. I want to just show you that it is an option. So what you'll do is you'll take the margin utility for each one and try and match it up with the ratio of prices. All right, but I like to focus on the other way that we just did, but this one is also an option if you want to. In the next video, we'll talk about section 6.2, which is how income and prices do change your choice. I'll see you there. Bye.